Hello, and welcome all to the Spooky Horror Show. I'm your host, Sean. I'm joined by Anthony.
Hello.
Just a reminder that this season's list of movies was chosen solely based on the box art, so we're going to be judging whether it's good or bad as the box art makes it seem.
It's pretty
simple.
simple.
Today, we'll be talking about 2014's One More Time for the Camera.
One more time.
But before we get into all that, I want to remind everyone that if you want to be part of the show, the Spooky Horror Show podcast records live Saturdays at 6 p.m. Central Time on twitch.tv/MoonDogGeek.
Yeah.
If you can't catch us live or just prefer an edited version, just search for the Spooky Horror Show on YouTube or any and all podcast services and enjoy the content.
Damn.
Now, with all that out of the way, Anthony, this is the first episode of season 4. How has your time off been?
It's been a very rough going. That's the reason why I was off. Very rough going. Illnesses, injuries, mayhem, destruction, all that shit, selling of things. But we're okay. Everything's fine. Actually, we're on a great path now, and we are happy, and we are starting new ventures. How has your hiatus?
Well, I've spent the last 2 months, chemo is done. The last 2 months have been taking care of my wife post-surgery. But other than that, everything's good. I've managed to get a whole bunch of the shit that had to get taken care of. Most of this season's podcast shit is done. It should be a little bit more of a smooth sailing. So,
Yes,
yeah.
That's good. Good. Slow down.
One More Time for the Camera is going to be a super short film.
Yes.
So this should be
It's like 13 minutes
really...
long.
Yeah, this should be a shorter podcast for
Hence
that.
the
especially-
non-live.
Yeah, there's also not a whole lot of what's it called?
Anything.
They have production facts and stuff, so we should be able to get through this like super quick. So, for production facts, One More Time for the Camera is directed by Nate. I want to say Columbia, I guess.
Saying it
And
with an accent doesn't change anything.
I know. It stars Anthony Blake, Craig Gilson, Ellen Gould, and Joseph Cash, with a runtime of 13 minutes.
13 minutes.
This should not have been on Tubi. This should have been on on like YouTube.
YouTube.
Based on the box art, what were you expecting from the movie?
A found footage.
That's it. That's all you expected from it.
That's it. Well, it's what else was I gonna expect? I'm doing off a fucking small picture. What else do you think I'm gonna take away from that? Even the description, I don't think it was kind of vague in the first place. But when you watch a 13-minute long fucking movie that I can take a shit that would be more entertaining than that, I mean, hey.
Yeah. No. I remember. I remember one of the weeks when we were talking about all this and first like going over like what the list was going to be. I had said that the box art for Unknown Visitor was super simple but spooky and conveyed like everything you would need to know about what you were about to watch. This was like the complete opposite. This image
opposite, yes.
This gives you absolutely nothing. It's like a dead person's hand, or possibly they're injured and they're holding a video camera and there's a light on them. That's all that it gives you. So it's not telling you anything. So I went in thinking it probably wasn't going to be good, but I also went in thinking that this was a full movie.
Yeah.
Not a YouTube short that they put on
Not
Tubi.
a shitbox. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing for me, that like maybe if it was longer.
That threw you back?
Yeah, because all of a sudden I watch it, I'm like, wait, it says I'm almost done, and then it was over, and I was like, motherfucker, this was a YouTube fucking short film that they decided to put on this. That's fucking stupid. That's about it. I was not going in with a whole lot of high hopes for this. So, I mean, it is what it is. Let's get into the plot.
Oh, there's a plot? I didn't think there was.
The film opens at a crime scene that the police are investigating. Two bumbling detectives are looking over all the crime scene stuff as CSI leaves. The detectives aren't wearing gloves, so already that's a big
why would you wear gloves? Why would you wear gloves? Fuck gloves.
The white detective finds and picks up a video camera, and without said gloves on, and without tagging it as
touching evidence, you mean?
Which, how did CSI miss a video camera that's still functioning?
There's a lot wrong with this whole entire situation, so.
Yeah. The black detective asks if he's gonna bag it as evidence, only for the other doofus to annoyingly exclaim,
"Dickleberries?
Fuck no." He'll learn that there's the way we do things, and then there's the way we do things, and then proceeds to watch the footage. So he's already tampering with evidence, so that's fucking great. It cuts to a couple going on a camping trip, and holy shit, is this dialogue bad. This is
The
awful.
fucking dialogue, the fucking acting is fucking terrible.
It's everything about this is bad. Nothing is in focus. They're going over a checklist, making sure that her sweet, sweet vagina is on the list, complete with her
I wasn't
grabbing
expecting
her
him to
pussy
say that.
and saying check. They start their trip, and the guy starts telling her a story about the area that they're going to, and that the last time he was
This
up there with some
dude-
friends.
This dude's storytelling is like molasses.
Yeah. It's bad. It's everything drags on. We get some useless information about how apparently this was supposed to be a getaway weekend for his friends Danny and Tatum, and how he and some other guy tagged along, and all they did was fight the whole time. None of this matters. None of it. It has absolutely nothing to do with
all
what's going
irrelevant.
on, especially since he talks about how when they went up there, that I think they stayed at the grandfather's cabin, the girl Tatum's like family cabin, and then when they get up there, they're just like in a tent. So it's like it's not even the same thing. It's not even the same.
Doesn't even make
It's
any
like,
fucking sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's weird. I don't understand it. But the entire time he tells us this story, it cuts to scenes of her tied up on a table being abused while he's tied up with a sack over his head. They
Sack
make
boy.
They make it to the camping spot where they enjoy scenery and eventually go into the tent to sleep. But Soul Patch has another idea. Tries to trick her into filming
Patch.
a homemade porn, but is stopped when she
Porno
hears
in
a
the
noise
woods.
outside.
Of course.
How into you could she possibly be that as you two are about to fuck in the middle of the woods in a tent, knowing that there's nature around, that the wind blows and it rustles the tent, and she no longer wants to have sex? Like she's
Maybe
not that
she's one
into
of
you.
those women.
Like-
yeah, well, there's some women that are like that. I don't know any of them like that, but some women do that. They're just not into, I guess, the person they're with. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks pretty douchey.
Oh, he looks mega douchey. He goes
Just
to check,
Toomey version.
and it's nothing more than an animal, or at least that's what he says. And then they go to sleep, but she makes sure to tell him to turn the fucking camera off. The footage that it cuts in to during this whole thing is the chick tied up on a table at the what we're assuming is the same location as the crime scene, where she's being raped by two hillbillies taking turns
Looks
recording
like a
and
fucking
fucking.
shack.
After I guess they're finished fucking her, they cut into her leg and she's still screaming. Now,
But she's screaming with much more intensity of like a liking.
but when
You
they're
have to-
cutting into her leg,
I mean, yeah,
Like,
and
those
like
were-
they're like doing
that
that.
was like
Shit,
a
that-
yeah, that was weird. But I
The
brought it
whole
up when
movie's
we
weird.
were watching it together, that I feel like at a certain point, shock and
Would've
shock
blacked the
would
fuck
kick
out.
in, and
Or
the
I hope
adrenaline would have
so.
worn off. That she probably would have passed out at a certain time, like at a certain point.
yeah.
But she just kept screaming the whole time, as if she didn't even have tape over her mouth. It was so fucking weird. It was so loud. But they slit her throat. She starts to bleed,
naturally.
thumping around a little bit, and then she starts puking through her neck slit hole.
Which I didn't. You had to tell me. I didn't get.
Yeah.
That wasn't conveyed to me.
No, because I put the subtitles on. If you like looked, and it was kind of like one of the guys was like, "Oh, she's
Vomit.
puking, she's puking." The next morning, they get up to go through their morning routine. The dude goes to take a piss when, out of nowhere, these hillbillies come out and attack him. Now, how did they not see the hillbillies?
I said the same thing. You're in the middle of the woods. It was a pretty wide area.
Yeah.
You didn't notice
It
or
was-
hear
it was
someone
pretty
coming.
clear.
Even out of frame, you'd be like, "There's something moving over there."
Yeah,
It's not like it was full foliage. It looked kind of like light.
yeah. No.
Fucking no one
No.
thinking. No one's thinking.
Now after they get attacked, it now cuts back and we see the hillbillies, what the hillbillies do to Soul Patch. They pretty much just beat him and
Soul
stab him.
Give him what
I-
I think he deserves.
I do think that they were gonna end up fucking him too, but they found the same tattoo that the girl has, and they say that
Yeah.
it's satanic and shit. So instead, they just decide to cut it off. But I brought it up while we were watching it that I found it very funny that they were like, "Oh, you're up next, like pretty boy," and then when they go to get him,
They wanted to do him
they call him a big city F slur. Really? Like,
because
But-
they're always the closet ones or the one. Yeah, I'm not gay because I'm the one doing it. No, I
Yeah.
feel you might be the gayer of your
Yeah.
conversation, my friend. If you were gonna play tit for tat there, I'd be like,
yeah.
I think you're proving your whole entire point. Bigotry ain't too smart.
They cut the tattoo off of him, and then they decide to stab
Tua.
him in the eye. We got something nice for you, and then they just stab him in the eye. Hungry, they go looking through the young couple's coolers and find a severed head. That's when Soul Patch and his chick are revealed to be demons.
When everything just goes
or something.
Fucking
yeah, and they feed. I think she says, "We feed on the flesh of evil people," or something like that.
I think something like that.
Yeah, they kill the hillbillies, and then they cut off the bigger dude. I think they cut off the head of the guy that was the first one raping her.
Oh, okay.
And after they cut off his head, she comes over and she starts slurping on the blood, and it is the grossest
It
fucking
sounds
sound.
fucking terrible. Yeah, it sounds terrible.
I might grab an audio snippet of it and insert it right here. But
It was disturbing.
Yeah, it then cuts back to the two detectives, and they're laying on the ground dead, possibly dismembered, because I don't remember there being hands or anything when they were looking at stuff. I feel like that shit would have been taken. Eventually, the black detective is dragged off screen with zero audio. There's no Foley sound added to him being dragged away.
Kind of like made a impression that there's supposed to be no sound.
Then it cuts to the title card, and that is the end of One More Time for the Camera. Anthony.
One more time. It was dog shit. I'm sorry. I went in thinking 13 minutes of my life. How bad can one suck so badly for me to go, wow, well, you know, I honestly should have probably never watched a 13-minute movie. This one did that.
No, this was the audio was bad, the color grade was bad, the camera work was bad.
The script had no premise.
The
Weird
visual effects were
transition
cool.
into some. Yes, no, it did. It legitimately had a weird spin. That whole thing went south really quickly with no foreshadowing or nothing involved.
Yep, nothing. Did you notice? You noticed like before the cops went in, there was like that bluish green color grade tint.
Yeah.
And then the second they got into it, it just went away and it was normal. Like I don't know what that was supposed to be.
They didn't transition a lot of things the right way.
I want to cut the film some slack because it's a 10-year-old film, but the dialogue was so painfully bad.
It's
just
terrible.
It felt like it was an edgelord that was writing the script, and then the delivery from everyone was just awful too. From the hillbillies just being fucking hicks, saying super racist shit, to the young couple in the beginning doing the checklist. Tent, check. Cooler, check. Sleeping bag, check. That sweet vagina, and then she just grabs her pussy, check. It's like what,
I seemed out of character for it. Seemed like someone of her caliber, like you can say.
I don't even know, but no, this is a 1. This is
1. Yeah, I mean it's 13 fucking minutes. I completely agree with you. It is a 1. I don't recommend watching it unless it's on fucking commercial for another movie on YouTube.
Yeah, I would. Oh god, this could absolutely be one of the, because like you can just take a whole like 20-minute videos and turn them into ads on YouTube.
Yeah, that's basically what this should have been.
Like you can skip it, but this is absolutely one of those where it's like just put it on YouTube and send it. But I know why they put it here, because it's 13 minutes. You're probably not paying attention to run times because you're just clicking on stuff. You watch through the whole thing. It gets ad revenue, and then they get paid.
I guess it's the poor man way of doing it.
So it's like, instead of putting it on YouTube, where like obviously they wouldn't be able to monetize this. Plus they would have to be
no one's buying this.
Yeah. Plus they would have to be like, their channel would have to be at like a certain subscriber rank. I think like 1,000 before they're even able to monetize. But then because of the content of the video,
get 1,000.
It probably wouldn't get monetized. So they were like, let's just put it here, and then us two fucking dingleberries sit here and fucking
stumble
watch
across some bullshit thinking like, oh, it's 13 minutes, how about I could take a 13-minute shit that had more interesting.
Like, I never want to watch this again. I hated that I had to watch it twice, once to like
just
write the synopsis down, and then once just now just to have a refresher. No, I don't watch this movie. I'm sorry it's on the list, but it's one of those things, like, you're looking at the thumbnail, you're like, hey,
it's part of the job. It's part of the job. Yeah,
it's bad. But next week will be, I'm gonna click on it to see exactly what the name of it is. Real Cases of Shadow People, the Sarah McCormick story. It's such a fucking bad title that it makes me angry. But that's going to be next week's video.
It's a long title.
That's about it. Anthony is working on a show. I don't know if we have a title for it yet.
No, not really. I didn't want to have it like a generic one, but yeah. We're working
right
on a little something after this, because I don't expect these to be that long into the season.
Yeah, no. Because those should be like 5 to 10 minute episodes.
Yeah, they're
Like,
not going to
yeah.
be long.
Yeah, so they should be good. But yeah, thank you everybody very much for stopping by, and we will see you next time.
Next time.
Bye.
Laters.